Hey everybody, today I am bringing you a special project. It's a layout that I'm making for the Victoria Marie Facebook group, International/National Scrapbook Day, although weekend in this particular case. My challenge to you is to use a large floral paper as a background. So I knew that I had this piece of floral paper from Schmel Little by Little, and I absolutely love it. It's called Cultivate Joy. I love the name of the paper, but I just love the pattern, and I knew I wanted it to be big and bold on a layout. So I'm adding that to my layout. I've cut about 3/4 of an inch off of two sides so that it's, a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch border around. And then I'm going to back that paper with the yellow paper from Recollections called Floral Squares. And I like how that yellow paper acts as a border and it keeps your eye from falling off the pattern. To use a kind of a funny term, but your eye doesn't keep going, it stops because there's a different paper there. And I like the contrast between the very dark navy of the floral background and then the bright pop of light yellow in the background border around it. So I also want to figure out how I'm going to really highlight my photos on this floral paper, because that can be a problem when you have such a bold pattern. And I'm going to do that in a couple of ways. One of them is that there is a black border around those two photos, which helps draw your eye to them. And then the other thing is I'm going to use some layers of paper here to help bring your eye in. And the layers of paper are lighter than the dark floral background, which it tells your eye that there's something new and different going on. So I've matted my two photos on that heart paper there. That is from Schmel Little by Little. It's a little bit lovely. And then I have two other papers. The aqua paper there with the small triangles is called Foxy. And then that blue stripe paper that I have there is called Live a Little. And all of that's really going to do a nice job, because they're lighter, of separating that block from the background. So you can see there that the photos actually really stand out considering how busy that background is. So don't be afraid to use busy backgrounds. You just have to think about how you're going to set your photos off. And I'm playing around here with my layers a little bit, trying to decide if they're going to be contained one into the other or what's going to happen here. Now I also know that I want to do a little bit of journaling about my photographs here. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of a journaling block I'm going to use. And those two photos are 4x4, so I already have 8 inches of space taken up just with the two photos on a 12x12 canvas, which only leaves me a 4x4 square, 4 inches wide left. And I'm just not, those 3x4 cards are just not working. So I'm kind of looking at other things there, can I use those? I do really love that, I think it's a 3x4 square if I remember correctly, or maybe not quite that, but it's a little bit, or 3x3 square. It's a little bit smaller. The only problem with that is it was the same blue stripe, so I couldn't use that, and I just didn't like how it looked next to it. I didn't want the photos and the paper blocks to expand across the whole background to divide that floral background. I wanted the floral background to be surrounding that block of papers, would be the best way to describe it. So I did find this 3x3 square on that yellow paper there, and I was thinking about cutting out around it, and then my die cut pack for Little by Little was right next to me there, and I found this little sort of shield shape with flowers, and I really liked that. I liked the pink of it, that plays off the pink in the heart paper and the pink in the flowers in the background, and then there's flowers on top of it. So if I'm doing a layout with a huge floral background, why not emphasize flowers in this particular case? So that's what I'm going to end up using. The die cut shape pack, or the die cuts are called just die cut shapes in the Schmel Little by Little collection. So I am trimming up some of these pieces of paper just a little bit now as I'm getting more and more settled on my design. And what I'm trying to do with that journaling piece there is I'm trying to cross over more than one layer of the paper there. So in this particular case, it's going to touch every layer of paper that the photos are matted on. and it's also going to touch the background. So I say this often, but when you do that, what it really does is it helps unite your design because it's bringing everything together. So those are little tips and hints about how you can make your design look more cohesive. Now, if you know me well, if you've ever watched my channel, you know that I do like to ink edges of papers, and I'm using Schmel papers, so they just scream for inking in my book. But if you've seen my channel before, you also know that I don't always remember to do it and often forget to do it or decide to do it after I have things glued down. So I'm having to go back and ink these, which is dangerous because sometimes you smudge on another paper, but I like to live dangerously, I guess. That is Memento Dewdrop ink in gray flannel. It is one of my favorite inks. It's not black, and it's not a light gray. It's somewhere in between. So now I'm inking the other edges of this because I've decided at least how I want things to be configured. So I've set the aqua and the pink off a little bit to the left of the blue paper there. Now I'm just inking in. These little flowers are hard to get inked in between, but that's what I'm doing. All right, so I know I want other things on this layout, and I find that little circle that says today from the die cut shapes, and so I'm going to use that. And now I'm just going through, and I pulled that up so you can see me as I sort of toss things in and out. I think that one, I can't read it on my screen right now, but it said something about possibility or something like that. But I really decided I really wanted more journaling room. So that works. Now, when I did see this floral paper, I remembered that I had this wood button from Freckled Fawn. It's from the Oh Dear Me kit, the button stickers, and I bought that as part of a grab bag on Black Friday. So I wanted to use that. It's completely appropriate. The colors are good, and I knew that I had wood buttons within the Schmel Little by Little collection that I could use as well. So I decided on that navy polka dot, which is just there now. It's one of the smaller buttons, and that again is from the Schmel Little by Little wood buttons. And I like now how you have, they're different buttons. They certainly look different, but you still have a wood element in each of those, what are going to become clusters. So I want more. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. I looked at the 6x12 stickers, and now I'm going through the sticker book itself to try to decide, and that's just called stickers. It's not called sticker book. And I have this little sort of like sun sticker. I like the circle element there, but I wanted that color further down, and I saw that, and then I saw that navy sticker there, which I thought would be nice to bring some navy into that cluster because the navy is down in the polka dot button. I'm not going to keep it, however. And then I find these phrase stickers, and that sticker says sunny day, and this page is all about warm weather in my Wisconsin winter legs, which are very white and not tan right now. So I do like that sticker, so I am going to make that work in here. It's just how. And I like the roundness of the shape, the shapes there. Okay, so there's the sunny days sticker. And I'm being a little bit particular here about where exactly it goes and what it touches. I wanted it to touch both the pink and the aqua paper there. Again, touching layers. So it's the pink and aqua paper, and it's also joining, it'll touch that little sun sticker and the wood button as well too. So bringing lots of things together, unifying lots of things. And this is a shiny sticker, but I'm still going to ink the edges. It stays on there. You get it on your hands too, but you know, oh well. At least you can tell I've been crafting at that point. So I really like how that cluster has come together, and I'm just adding a glue dot to the back of this. The wood buttons do come with, and I think they're even actually foam dots behind them, but I like to take the foam dots off because it makes them really tall. They're already an embellishment with a lot of dimensions, so then I will take those foam dots off and just use my own glue dots on the back. All right, so that looks good to me right now. And I'm going back through the stickers again because I'm just not happy with that navy sticker up in the top cluster. Just trying to see, you know, maybe can I bring some yellow in there? And that's not doing it for me. Just trying to figure out what else is out there that I can use. And then I find that little @ sign sticker, and I like that because it brings in the aqua color there, but now it feels like there's too much going on up there with that navy sticker, so I'm going to take that off and not use it. Some more edge inking here, and this die cut here gives me just a little bit more room to actually tell my story. Which, you know, it's not like the most important story of my life or anything like that, but it's a good, you know, nice story to tell. And it was the story of a really beautiful day. So it was the first time I had had shorts on this year. And when you live in Wisconsin, if you can get shorts on in April, that's a small miracle, because we really don't start wearing them until June. It doesn't really get warm enough. May can be a very cool month here. All right, so now I'm looking at the puffy stickers from Little by Little, and I found that yellow flower puffy sticker, and I like that up there because it brings in the floral element again. And then I found that red heart, and I just like that little bit of red because there is red in the background, and that just gives it a little bit more of a pop there. And what I'm doing here is I thought that the sunny day sticker was a little bit too long and there was a lot of space to the left of it there, so I just cut it off, and I didn't do it evenly, so I have to come back and do it again. All right, so I like the way that looks. And there's my used package of wood buttons. Yay, it feels so good when you can throw out a package that it's actually, they're all on layout. So I'm now thinking about my title, where I want it, how, you know, what color to do it in, those kinds of things. So in order to avoid going over to my thickers, the first thing I'm doing is, you know, thinking about color. And I thought about yellow in this case. I thought about aqua, thought about white, thought about pink. So what I'm doing is I'm going over, I have my thickers in some baskets. So if you want to, I do on my channel have scrap room tours. It's a 2-part tour, and just go to the playlist for scrap room and you'll find them. So I found this font. It's American Craft Stickers in the Giggles font, and I really like that. And I like how it is pink, so it's, you know, blending into the color, but it's not screaming title, title, title here and taking away from the background paper. And that I really didn't want. I really wanted the title to be there so you could read it, but I want you to see the photo and the floral background. That was the whole point of doing this challenge in the way it is. Sometimes I'm inspired, you know, I knew I wanted to use this paper, so I went and found a couple of photographs that worked with the paper. And I had just taken these photos. If it might have even been that day. If it wasn't the day that I did this, it was the day before or day after. Yeah, well, yes, the day before I took it, if it wasn't the same day. And I'm using wax paper, which a lot of us have seen that already. It really just helps you kind of figure out where you put your title without having to fiddle around with it too much. I admire people who just get titles down. Sarah Swan is one that comes to mind. She can just put a title down and doesn't use wax paper. And yay me, there were enough letters here that I didn't have to create anything. So I often have to MacGyver letters into something else. All right, I really like how that's looking now. I could have put like enamel dots and things like that on here, but I really wanted to keep the clusters, you're going to laugh when I say more simple, but not adding lots of little bits because there's so much going on in that background. And not that there isn't a lot of stuff going on in the background, but there's a lot of stuff going on even in the clusters. So I did my journaling here in the 2 journaling spots. Upcoming, you'll see a still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and go over to the Victoria Marie Facebook group and see the other challenges, and hope to see what you create. Bye!